What's up everybody? Today we're going to start this rebuild series by taking apart my KTM 250 to the frame. In the previous video I discussed the rebuild plans for this dirt bike, so if you like you can watch it and I will put a link in the upper right corner. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. So before I took it inside, I just let the engine run for 5 or 10 minutes to get the oil nice and warm, to drain it more easily. To drain it, you just screw the oil plug here behind the shifter. It's a 30mm oil plug with a copper ring behind it, so you can spot it quite easily. So you just remove it and then you put a bucket or an oil can like this underneath it to catch all the oil. First I always like to take the plastic off and the tank with the seat, so we have a nice overview. So we're just going to do that now. All of this you can just do it with the original KTM tools, but I'm for convenience going to use an impact driver. Speeds the process up and makes it more easy. Usually I just screw these bolts back in the seat, otherwise I keep losing them. I always use these kinds of buckets just to keep my screws organized. So to remove the side plates, we also need to remove the bolts of the subframe. So we're just going to do that now. So that was also the first time for me, but there is a little clip here on the back side, just like the air filter box cover. You can just pull it off. And then you can slide the rear fender just backwards. When I'm working on it and we take the air filter off, I usually like to put some paper towel in here to prevent dirt from falling into the carburetor. So, and also when we are going to take the carburetor off, I also like to do it here into the intake manifold, but I don't have paper towel, so I'm just going to use something else. So now we can take off the fuel tank, just hooked up with one bolt here in the middle, and we need to take the fuel line off. I'll turn it around a little bit and then we can just move it around. And I like to put my pliers with the white part on here. Usually this gets quite tight, so you can just squeeze it a little bit and then turn it around, and then you feel a little click, and then you can easily pull it down when you need to. And I always just take this tube off here. So now we can take it off. Oh yeah, an important step. Put your fuel valve off. Since we started with the plastic, I will just take all the plastic work off. In this way we create a nice overview of the bike. You can see all the parts nice and easy. And yeah, all the plastic is just like a few screws, so it's very easy to do. So now we're going to take the exhaust off. So the rear damper is just 2 bolts, and then with the rubber and some springs it's attached to the front of the exhaust. So you can just pull it off. So the front of the exhaust is also 2 bolts, one over here, one over here, and then we need to get these 2 springs off. Usually you have a nice tool with a hook on it for these springs, but I don't have it at this moment. I usually use the stripping pliers for that. Then they have a nice grip and hook for it. So now we can just take it out. Springs are both the same size, so it doesn't matter where you place them. So next up we're going to remove the subframe. So now we only have to loosen up these 2 here on the top, and we're going to remove the ECU. We only need to remove this tie rib. Make sure you don't clip off the wiring, of course. And then you can just push this clip down and then you can take it off there. Then we only need to loosen up the hose clamp. And then we can take off the last subframe bolt, and it should come completely loose and we should be able to get it off. Let's just put this towel in front of it. So now we can just take the bottom bolt of the cover of the water pump, and on this bolt you see a little copper ring behind it. That's when you know it's sealing something. So also in the manual of KTM they clearly explain which bolt you have to remove for each bike. So I really like that of the manuals of KTM because they're quite clear. Just going to loosen it up a little bit, so, and then we can take it out when we hold a bucket. So just going to hold the bucket here, and then after that we can just remove it. The coolant will not flow that fast in the beginning. That's because the system doesn't get any air. When the radiator cap is still on there, there cannot go any air into it. So when we remove it, you have to be careful because then it's going to flow quite fast. So that's why I have a big bucket for this. First time I did this on my own, the coolant was everywhere. So now we can just tilt the bike a little bit to this side. You see some more coolant is coming out. Shake it a little bit. That should be it. You also have a little bolt here on top. That's also for the cooling system. So we can just check if everything is out of there already. It's a little bit more. So before replacing the engine back, we will replace all these copper sealings, but just for now I will just place them back. Then we're going to place the plug with the copper sealing back so we don't spill any fluids. So now we can take everything of the cooling system off. We're going to take the radiators off and all the hoses. So let's just do that now. So we just need to take off these 3 hose clamps and this one. When your engine gets too hot and the pressure is too high, it will float some coolant via this hose. So usually I will just put the plier on there, try to give it a little twist. Click, click. That way you know that it's loosened up. Then we can take it off a bit more easy. Twist it a little bit so the top comes off. Then we turn it this way. So that's number one. So you can just give it a little twist and then it comes loose. You just gently have to pull it out. That was not really gently, but it worked. Now let's take off this hose to be able to get the engine out of the frame. And the cap for the spark plug. So now we're going to take the engine mounts off there. We're going to loosen up this hose as well. So now we're going to take these covers off. So behind these covers you have the swing arm mount, so that connects the swing arm to the frame, and also this mount runs through the engine. So I think we are going to take the back part off now. If you have a sharp plier, you can really easy clip it off. So first I'm going to take the back wheel out, makes it easier on the swing arm. It's not 27, so that means that I cannot take it off. See, I can do it with this plier. I need to get the 32 for this. I like to get it almost off and then push it to this side. That way you don't destroy the thread on the rear axle. I can just lift it a little bit and pull it out. Okay, so now we can take the rear brake off. And then you can push it to the front. This one comes off. And then we can get these 3 bolts off. And just like that. That was all for the first episode. In the next episode we will continue taking apart my KTM 250 to the frame. If you like the content, give a thumbs up to the video, subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell to stay up to date with the KTM 250 build. See you next time!